Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Cabre, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Homework Help. And I'm going to immediately share my screen because I am very excited about today's topic of the month. Wrong screen, bruh. Here we are. I don't know what this means. Allow. Okay. Well, here we are. Welcome to Homework Help. For those that are here for the very first time, just setting some expectations, some rules. We are a very chill group here. I am 100% going to give examples, things for you to take home. We're going to actually do a live demo today, and also just a disclaimer, I guess, because I am outside and I am in one of those states that has lantern flies. If there is a lantern fly that comes in my vicinity and I notice it, it is going to throw me off. I am not a fan of them, but I really enjoy doing these outside. So, leave the Florida girl to her Florida things. But with that said, no, we are not getting in the weeds of certain technical aspects, and we're not going to be proper and prim, and tea parties are for a different time. So our to-dos today is to get into the nuances of what world building is. Then I'm going to explain briefly what a mood board is, and then we are going to build one in the spirit of world building for something specific. And then we'll talk about homework later. So that's world building. It's probably one of my favorite topics to talk about other than character development. So I'm going to be as concise as possible. When you are world building, you are outlining the most important details of the places in your story. You can start with where the character starts. That could be where they live or where they start their story. It could be the battlefield of a big event. It could be the character's bedroom. Like, the world building elements that you may or may not need depend on what story you're telling. However, these are just, I've outlined some of the most basic elements that I could think of without getting too in the weeds, because you will learn later how in the weeds you can get with world building. So you have the geography. When we're talking about geography, it's like the land and the planet itself. So, is it flat? Is there mountains? Is there hills? Is there rivers? Is it a desert? Like, what is it? And that ties into climate. That ties into, if it's really super hot, who the heck is going to live there? Florida. But the population that lives there, if there's like a couple tribes that live there versus like 1,001,000 people living in one situation of like confinement, then it's very different of how your character will interact in that environment. Same with what status are they? Are they poor? Are they rich? Are they somewhere in between? Are they on the lam? Like, what is their status? What kind of clothing do they wear? Do they even like clothing? Because that's another thing. Some characters do not like clothing. Is the political climate all tense? Or is it, a very happy-go-lucky place? Do they have traditions? Some people, everyone seems to have some kind of tradition, even if it's something very minor, or even like daily routines that are expected in society. And then, if you're in a fantasy world, you got magic systems. So these are just, like I said, some of the elements. Break open a whole mystery Easter egg with all the things that go into world building. But for today and for conciseness, I want you guys to just start thinking about some of these topics, which ones resonate, which ones don't resonate, because that is also a big part of world building. When you see how big it can get, you can get very lost and you'll never write the story. So it's very important to keep things simple. We love simple. If it wasn't simple, it's not fun. So some things to ask yourself is when you're first thinking of your idea and you're first trying to, sink your teeth into whatever this new world is that you're about to create. When are you? Where are you? How are you? Why are you? I'm about to break them down. Not my beautiful illustrations are not, giving away what I'm going to say. It is also very humid out here, which I personally love, but it will require me to drink more water than usual. So just another fair warning. Okay, when are you? I mean in time. You can get very, very creative and make a whole timeline and do like Doctor Who and do all the time jumping stuff. You can get very specific in a period piece of like, when they're like the 90s, they get very, specific with what the 90s is, or any of the other decades that came before it and after it. But you could also go as far back as like, ancient Rome, or I don't know, the Caribbean before colonialism. I don't know. So establishing when you are in the timeline of your story will also establish where you are in the timeline of your story. So if you are, keeping it simple and staying on Earth and picking a continent and then picking a country in that continent and then picking a smaller location within that, then you can decide where you are. If you are doing something like I did, where I was like, wow, this planet got a lot going on and I don't want nobody telling me nothing about the accuracies of the whatnots, I decided to make my own world. And, 10 realms later, I'm teaching this class. So when you are thinking about where you are, you want to think of it like broadly specific. You can start like I did and say planet, continent, all the way down until you get to the person's bedroom, or you can start in the person's bedroom and work your way out. It all depends on, how your brain works. But also take into consideration, how are you? I mean, take into consideration how you are, as a storyteller, but how are you in the terms of through the eyes of the character? Are you like from a wealthy family coming into the new era of a something or other? Or are you like dirt poor, stealing bread and feeding it to orphans? Like, what are we doing here? Are you a part of a secret organization? And I say you because a lot of the times we forget that our characters, like, they come from us. So it would behoove us to think in their point of view. Just throwing it out there. So how are your characters? Are they in any shape to be doing anything you're about to put them in, or are they overqualified? And why are you doing this in the first place? Why are you sending this character on this journey? Why are you writing this story? Your why should be following you around throughout your entire career as a storyteller. I'm not entirely sure what your specific niche is, or if you are a writer, an artist, an actor. But when you are making a story, you have to keep your why in your back pocket. Why are you doing this? Why is your character doing this? Why are they going on this journey in the first place? Why is it important? Why does anyone care? Keep your why right here. So it's a mood board. The overall vibe of any idea that usually includes all this stuff. And I say that as simply as humanly possible, because a mood board can literally be whatever you want it to be. These are just the things that came off the top of my head when I was like, well, every mood board has this. Colors, visuals, words, monuments, and monuments can be like an actual monument, or like monument of like something grandiose, if that makes sense. Like, I can't think of an example right now, but like a monument to time, I guess, would be a giant hourglass if you were trying to, make a fantastical world and you needed a symbol. So like, I guess symbols was also another thing that you could put in there. People, animals, and things that inspire you in general for whatever the story involves. Because you can make a mood board for yourself. You go out of your way, take a whole side quest detour, and make a mood board for why you're a storyteller and why you do what you do and what inspires you and all that lovely flowy stuff. But we are talking about your story right now. So, what can a mood board look like? It's a visual thing. I can't talk my way through this. These are some of the mood boards that I have made. This one is outlining if I could make Storyteller Planet, a little bit more interactive, what would it look like? So this is something I came up with. I'm in the midst of making a video game. I needed visuals for gameplay mechanics. This is my mood board. I needed my characters to have better details than they're purple and have locks. And I broke it down for someone who was going to help me make said character. So they can literally look like anything, and we are going to be interactive and make one. I'm very excited because I will tell you a little backstory of this because this is a original piece. But it probably will not come out for several years because I'm taking my sweet old time with it on purpose. So this is Malone City. For anyone that is familiar with any of my works, if you have heard of the place called Effie, this is on the place of Effie. This is actually the same place where It's Only for Forever takes place, just like, I don't know, 30 years earlier, I guess, is the best way to describe it. So this is the map that I made of this city. What I'm going to do is set a timer for 10 minutes, and 10 minutes sounds like a long time, but I promise you I'm going to just kind of see where the wind takes us and try to make it fun. I'm not going to put on music because I really don't want to get flagged for copyright. So I'm going to start this timer. And just going off of this one little map, I'm going to make it smaller, but also, like, I should have done this first. Yeah. Okay. So, this is all we're focusing on. And this place is a little near and dear to my heart because it kind of reminds me of Miami. It was what I based it off of, if you can tell. This is Broward County. This is South Florida. And that's why I put the line over there that's Broward County. No, this is technically Broward County. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I only have 10 minutes and I'm over here gabbing. We're going to be using some AI to see what we can come up with. Sometimes they don't give me what I want. So I like this. I don't know what I use it for, but I like it. Okay, so let's zoom in a little bit on, because the whole thing is South Vermont. We're just working on this right here. So this is what I mean when you gotta hone in, like, because you could get lost in the weeds of your own work. I didn't even start yet, and I'm over here like, oh, this part over here and that part over there. Okay, so we got a middle school, a high school, a college, a mall. Well, that's a new mall versus the old mall. Okay, so we're gonna put beachfront mall and see what comes up while I'm thinking of this. We have the shrine. This is the most important part. That's what I was trying to get at with this, but this doesn't look like a shrine. It just kind of, okay, so we're working, we're thriving. Ooh, I like this, and I like this. At the mall. One's old, one's new. Beach. I love when they try to, like, write things. Okay, so. And not all this is gonna stay. I know that, because as I like to just click things just to keep it, and then we're gonna generate that again. See, like the more you start playing around with, okay, well, what does this look like? What is the vibe of this? Let's do some colors. I don't know why I like that. This looks like the new mall. So you gotta do the old mall versus the new mall. So the new mall, when we over here, and the old mall, this look like a new mall. Now this look old. You know what? I don't know. I don't know yet. You don't gotta make decisions yet. It's giving Bayside. Okay, move over there. So I need colors. So let's see what happens when you start getting things that can be potential copyright. Things get crazy. Miami color palette. I want to see what comes up. I can make my own thing, but oh, the elementary school's here as well. There's an orphanage somewhere in here as well. This is Main Street. Ooh, I like that. I don't know what we're doing with it, but I like it. This is such a vibe. This is downtown. Like 1000. It's like all the way over here, something that I ain't even dealing with. Okay, but we're gonna go with outdoor boho hotel, because this shrine used to be a hotel, but like a youth hostel, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I have not gotten my visuals correct. So pretty. But in the story, it is transformed into a shrine of like these people that helped save the person who made this in the first place. Hotel lobby? All right, well, that's thinking in the background. We're gonna go with some like that. Como así? And then you go generate more like this because I like what I see. And then it'll be nothing that you want. And notice this is not pretty. This is messy. Like we don't even know where what is on the map. But you see, you should just generate again. And this is obviously going to take a lot longer than 10 minutes, but the longer you sit with it, the more questions you start asking yourself, and you're like, oh, what about this? What about that? Like the beach. Tropical Caribbean beach at sunset. Because this kind of looks like sunrise. I don't know, it's giving me a sunrise vibe. So let's see, because you got, if it's the north, this is south, and then the west would be this way, whatever. That's the other thing that you got to think about when you're thinking about world building. Where is the sun coming from? Does it rise and set in the same way of like rise from the east and set in the west? Or like, it's obviously a beach town, guys, if you didn't pick up the cues. Main Street Beach Town. I'm gonna say Sleepy Beach Town because it's sleepy. Even though this looks vibrant as all get for a sleepy beach town. I'm gonna save this in the corner. But seriously, like you have to think about the climate of your like this. You have to think of the climate of your location, and then you have to think about all the elements of that climate. So it could be sunny and beachy, but is it humid or is it crisp? Because that'll tell you the different strengths and weaknesses about being outside. You feel me? And I say that as someone who lived in LA and California and New York, and they all have very different heats and very different climates. So, all right, let me get a little organized. So this is for this, and this is for this. Okay, this looks like, this is the new mall. This is the old mall. Old mall seems to be like an outside mall, whereas the new mall seems to have all the new hip funky fresh stuff, so just gonna make these smaller. And then this is Main Street. This is over here. This is also Main Street. I don't know if I like that. Goodbye. I still don't know where you are. I'm gonna call you the old one because you look a little flat. Like you notice how all like the new stuff is like triple tiered and all the old stuff is like one level. That's how we're gonna run this show. Okay. So this could be one of the beaches. Look how bien chuching that looks. And you know, it's again, you have I don't know what we're doing with this. So anything that you like, I like it, but I don't know what to do with it. Just put it to the side and deal with it later. Because it'll come together eventually. Oh, this is still looking. Okay. So we're seeing the vibes of like how this looks more modern-y, this is more old fashioned, this is more boho. This is, I'm not sure what it's giving. It's giving beach. This is very colorful. I don't think I'm gonna use this, but maybe I will. Maybe that's the difference. This one's like not colorful, and this one is very colorful. And then you have what's kind of giving, you know? What happens if I put in South Beach? But this is really is like Main Street. Like if you go down a lot of main streets, you just see like the one street going in either direction. And then all these little shoppy shops. Because in my mind, it's like you got the butcher and the candlestick maker and all them homey peoples you can shop from. See, as soon as I said South Beach, it gave me something that kind of not sleepy, not actually saying Sleepy Town. I'm fucking hollering. This can actually go over here with this stuff. So you're slowly building your world. Oh, here's more colorful stuff. Okay, I guess this is a very big part of the town because I got like 6 pictures of it. Going back to the shrine. Ooh. And that was 10 minutes. Shush, 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 shush. So notice how like I didn't specifically put a color palette on here. I could have. I went for the color palette and I saw this and I was like, and then I said, never mind, because I want to get into certain places. But notice when I click this, it gives me colors up here that are a part of this picture. Same with actually any of these pictures. They're all AI generated, obviously. Ooh, I like this one. I'm gonna keep it. But you can start getting a vibe of like, okay, well, this area clearly has these colors in it because they pop up a lot. Like, there's a lot of browns, a lot of warm colors, rather than these have like, these literally have the same colors just in reverse and slightly dull. So if you can't envision specifically what you're trying to get at, just start throwing it in the generator and things will organically appear and you'll start looking. Like you saw, I had one of the beaches on there that after having like, I don't know how many other beaches appear, I was like, I don't need that anymore. And I deleted it. But I still have this thing up here that is not the shrine that I wanted. And I still don't know what I'm doing with it. So it all depends on your preference. It all depends on how much time you're willing to invest in your mood board. I think it's valuable to spend at least one session, like, you know, like however long you normally sit to either write or do or tell your story, whatever it is that your task is, spend that one session amount, half an hour, whatever it is, to dedicate to this and see how far you get. Sit down and think of like 3 specific things you want to put on this board and see where it takes you. Because again, this was only 10 minutes and we already got the old mall, the new mall, we got, I guess, the North Beach, because there's another beach down here. We got the main street, and we have an attempt at the shrine that was renovated from whatchamacallit, a youth hostel place. So yeah, what's the homework? Go create your own. Who did not see that coming? Oh my god. Create your own world building mood board using a minimum of 4 of the technical elements of world building. What are the technical elements of world building? I told you it is a lot. I didn't make it up. This is like a taste of what you could think of for world building. There's like an infinite amount of things you can think about. But this is a good, strong list to start with. So pick 4 at minimum, work with them, see what you do, and then see what that gives you. If it's not your cup of tea, you don't have to do it. There's a million 1,000 ways to write a story, to make a story, to tell a story. You just have to figure out what works for you. But this is very good, a very good exercise that you can do starting with world building. And if you feel like world building is a little too much for you, then switch gears and do it for your character or yourself if you feel like the character is also still too much. But give it a shot. It's worth your time. Even if you take the 10 minutes like I did and come up with this, it's worth trying to see beyond what you normally would do. And you don't have to rely on AI. I didn't want to go into Google and just start, taking things from the internet because once again, don't want to get flagged. But generating things from AI gives you a different perspective of what is in the normal world. So if you're writing a fantasy, try it out. See what it gives. If not, you can always go into the search engine and find things. So that is my wrap up. I'm going to encourage you to check out the fundamentals of fiction and always join the Mythical Manuscript Guild because we are always here for you. Me and my fellow masters of storytelling. I like to come on here and show you guys the website because sometimes I change things and I know on the phone it is a little overwhelming. So if you hit learn, you're going to end up, I believe, in mini courses. Yes. And the fundamentals of writing fiction are literally right there. So you can learn all about that and all the other courses that are here. We also have a scavenger hunt. Couldn't think of the word for a second. So if you go into what's new, and there's a link here that I believe leads to where it's supposed to go. Okay, well, it didn't scroll, but that's fine. If you go to what's new, you'll end up on this page. But if you go to support our planet and you go into TNT Comics, you'll find scavenger hunt clues. This is a remnant of what we did during the summer. We had a lot of different interactive things on the site. I'm going to be keeping this up until the last day of August. So feel free to participate. Once it hits September, I am going to take all the chapters and put them for exclusivity for our support squad. If you are unfamiliar with our support squad, it is $1 a month membership that gives you access to more Story Planet lore, the map of Storyteller Planet, access to all of the word vomit challenges and any mini courses that are $1. Gives you access to all the stories that are on Fantasy Island and any character bios or exclusive first looks that I put in our exclusive content section because there's a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, I believe that is all I have for you guys. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to wish you guys a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your month, and I will see you back here next month with a new writing topic. Love you guys. Bye.